TRC EDC back again with another knife video. This is the video some of you have probably been waiting for. I can't say all of you, but it is the Hogue Deka versus the Para 3 Lightweight, Spyderco Para 3 Lightweight versus the Benchmade Bugout. Now, not all of these are the stock versions. This is a stock version, this is a stock version, this is not a stock version. This is the Mike Hardis scales from Alan Putman. So, just be aware that that this normally comes in plastic scales. That being said, I've used the plastic scales for a while, so I know what they feel like and I know how the knife performs with them. So let's talk about the differences between these knives and what you should know. So first off, I'm just gonna, and I'm not gonna make this a really long video, but I'm just gonna tell you straight out, by far the Deka is the best materials here. There is no doubting that. The difference, you know, you have here, you've got G10 G-Mascus scales. The G-Mascus is this pattern that you see here. You've got the Cerakote blade with the 20 CV steel on it. And so this is by far the best materials. This, like I said, comes normally with plastic scales. It has this, I believe it's PVD coating, S30V blade. And this would be the second best materials out of what we see here. The third best materials out of what we see here is the Spyderco Para 3 Lightweight. It's CTS BD1 and steel with these plastic scales as well. One of the main differences why I give this the win over this with the materials is the fact that this has double washers. It has washers on both sides, whereas this has washers on one washer on one side, and that definitely gets a knock for that issue. So the best materials, number 1, number 2, number 3. On price, again, this is going to win hands down on price because you're getting the best materials, but you're also getting these two knives basically the same price for the most part. This is $148 with the coating. I think you can get them for $140 without the coating, and this is about $135, $140-ish with this coating, and it also comes about $110 or so. And it used to be $105, but I think it's $110 now in the blue scales and the satin blade. So this wins number 1 with the price. This wins number 2 with the price. This goes for about $91 or so. I think they may have raised the price slightly since then, but it's still the cheapest. And it has similar materials to this other than the blade steel. So I'm going to go with Spyderco Para 3 Lightweight as the second best price on value. And the third best price is going to be the Bugout. That being said, it's not really that far behind on the Spyderco Para 3 Lightweight. Excuse me. All right, let's talk about the blade shape. So the blade shape, the Bugout wins it for me. This is just such a classic blade shape. It has a nice thin blade. Let me show you all the blade stocks here. So out of the blade stocks here, these two are basically the same, and this is a thicker stock. So the stock is going to go into the shape as part of the consideration here. So, you know, for lightweight carries, which is what we're talking about, all three of these are lightweight carries. A nice thin stock is a great thing to have. So the stock coupled with this nice high flat grind that it has here, the nice swedge that it has here, the long flat, the way it comes up to a point gradually and not really all at once upswept. All of these features on this blade make this blade shape an excellent blade shape for this knife. This wins outright, in my opinion. This gets second, similar blade shape that you're dealing with to the Bugout here, but I do just like some of the elements of the Bugout's blade shape a little bit better. This doesn't have quite as long to go from the top of the blade to the bottom before you get to a flat. So, you know, it's not quite as thin behind the edge. It is quite thin up top. You have this nice swedge here, which gives it a nice design element. And again, it remains pretty thin stock and pretty slicey. This is going to get third. It has the, for two reasons. One is the cutting edge on this is extremely small compared to the cutting edge on these other two knives, as you can see. even though the blade length is a little bit similar. The blade length is still smaller, and then the cutting edge on top of it is taken up a lot by this half choil. So those are some issues. The blade stock is also fairly thick, although it has this nice grind, the flat grind that goes to the bottom. So again, I'm going to go with the Bugout number 1, the Hogue Deka number 2, and the Spyderco, Para 3 lightweight number 3. All right, let's talk about the ergonomics here. So the ergonomics on here are interesting because the one that feels the best ergonomics is probably when you choke up on the choil, the lightweight. Just the design of the Para 3 is that way. However, the fact that this is so sharp on the bottom, they didn't chamfer these the bottoms of these scales or the tops of the scales. It actually ends up being the least comfortable out of these 3, and the most comfortable is going to be the Bugout. I just love the way that it has this flat top here, so I feel like I can put my thumb wherever I want to. It has jimping here if I want to grab on. It has just a classic shape here that can be used by a lot of different size hands, and the Hogue Deka here has a similar thing, but you have some cutouts here, and you have this ramp here, so it sort of forces your hand to be there. It is still fairly comfortable, but it's not as user-friendly as the Bugout. So I'm going to go with, on ergonomics, the Bugout number 1, the Hogue Deka number 2, and the Spyderco Para 3 lightweight number 3. Now, a note on this, if we were talking about the Para 3 instead of the Para 3 lightweight, this would win ergonomics. Okay, so let's talk about just general carry, and that really has a lot to do with the pocket clip. So let's turn these over. And the Bugout has the best pocket clip, in my opinion, on the market for a production knife. This mini deep carry clip has been touted by a lot of people as being the best in the market, and it is. It really is. It has just excellent deep carry ability. The clip is tiny. It doesn't get in the way. It has an excellent ramp. It's excellent. There's no arguing it. This is great. The wire clip here is also great. And I'm not the hugest fan of the wire clip, but I still like it quite a bit. And so I have to give the Para 3 sort of the second spot. I don't love this pocket clip, and a lot of the knife sort of sticks up here with this G-Mascus pattern. I don't love that because depending on what you're wearing, it really, shows, unless you're wearing like camo pants or something. And the clip itself has that, Hogue emblazoned on it, which, it's just screaming you have something in your pocket that's a weapon. So, it is what it is. Hogue, as you may know, made their name making gun grips. They make knives, but they're still not well known enough that they make knives that, somebody's going to know exactly what you're carrying that Hogue has, what you're carrying in your pocket that has Hogue's name on it. So just be aware of that as well. I just don't like a lot of writing on the sides of clips and things like that. So those are some things. Otherwise, the clip actually works great. All of these have really light carry. The lightest one out of these is the Bugout. This works extremely well with gym shorts, and I would have to say if you wear gym shorts or sweatpants or light pants all the time, there's just no beating this for carryability. If you wear jeans, no beating this for carryability. For this one, if you wear gym shorts, still works well with sweatpants, but it is kind of fat also. Just be aware when you talk about carry. You can see it's much fatter. So that's another issue with the carry as well. And it's also fatter than the Hogue Deka. So the Hogue Deka itself actually carries pretty well, even though it has the G10. You don't notice it. It's still very light, and I think it's still an excellent knife to carry. That being said, you need to replace the pocket clip if you want to have nice, good, easy carry on this knife, so that it's not sticking out, especially if you're using lighter pants like sweatpants or gym shorts. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. I think I'm just going to do an intangibles category, just because I think it's necessary. The Bugout by far out of these three knives is just a knife that it's everything you need in a light carry knife and nothing that you don't need. And that's really what sets this apart from everyone else. And so I've got to give this sort of a huge leg up on that intangible in and of itself. And so for that reason, out of these three knives, despite the fact that this is better materials at a better price, I'm going to take the Bugout. I think the Bugout is the best of these three knives when you're talking about a lightweight carry. There's just no beating it. And that's definitely my preference. Also, Benchmade's warranty is just excellent. There's no beating Benchmade's warranty. You know, the Spyderco warranty is good, but, you know, people have horror stories also with Spyderco and some of the things that they do with their warranty. Hogue is still sort of new in the game, so, you know, their warranty is still getting its feet under it. So, again, the Benchmade Bugout is my choice out of these three knives. Now, if you want something different that everyone else doesn't already have, I am going to recommend the Deka. I'm just not going to recommend the Para 3 Lightweight. And mainly for the other video that I did where I explained why I don't recommend the Para 3 pretty much at all as a knife, is because the Spyderco Para 3 is everything the Para 3 Lightweight is, but better at not much of a, you know, an additional weight and not much of an additional price. So that's really what we're talking about here. So if I had to order these in what I would recommend, number 1, number 2, number 3, and in fact, I do recommend the top 2. I don't recommend the bottom one. But I do recommend this one. But I would still recommend a third out of these 3. So I hope that answers some questions for you folks who were wondering, you know, sort of the differences between these 3 knives and what you guys, whether you should get one versus the other. There are going to be some of you that say, look, I'd much rather have the 20 CV steel than the S30V, and that's totally cool. Go ahead and get that Deka. But my choice is going to be this Bugout. Go ahead and hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comments section. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know why you disagree. You know, I'd love to hear it. I like these types of arguments where you're arguing, you know, one knife versus another knife. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And go ahead and subscribe if you haven't, and hit the notification bell so you get all of my content. Thanks so much for watching.